Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and these are my favorite cruiser boots. My number one pick, and how could it not be, is the Icon 1000 Elsinore. It doesn't get any better than this for looking like a badass biker. I have the HP version here, which has this metal plating on the front, around the heel. There's some embossed detailing on the heat shield, and then it's blacked out stitching all around. I mean, Icon says that this pays homage to the motocross world, but to me, this is more of a tribute to Mad Max. The Elsinore is not the most technical boot, but it has everything I need. The sole is steel shanked, and the chassis is top grain leather. Now, top grain is sanded and treated to be more uniform than full grain leather, but it's also less breathable and less durable overall. I mean, personally on this boot, I probably would have preferred that raw, unfinished look of full grain anyway, so getting the top grain was a bit of a bummer for me. There is armoring here, around the toe, heel, and ankle. The ankle plate is this stupid free-floating piece though, which is way less comfortable than if it were baked into the leather itself. To me, this reeks of cost cutting, and that's hard to swallow when I'm forking over $330. But oh well, I mean, at least all the armoring combines to give a CE certification. Fitment-wise, the Elsinore size is just like a regular shoe. It is really stiff out of the box though, so expect to have to wrestle it on for the first few rides. Now these 5 straps do work to adjust the fit. I can wear my jeans over or under this boot depending on how tight I set them. For average, everyday rides though, I much prefer the full-length zipper on the other side for taking the boot on and off. I found these boots comfy to walk in, and I love how slim they look. The toe box is too high though, so it's a little bit difficult to shift gears, and I was also unimpressed with the lack of a waterproof liner. At this price point, Icon should probably throw it in. Now, my second pick is a baby step up, and this is the Icon 1000 Prep boot. It's very similar to the Elsinore in a lot of ways, and it retails just $10 higher. And to me, this was kind of a weird move for Icon. I mean, they've basically created their own competition by cramming 2 products into the same bracket. Maybe that's why the Prep doesn't sell too well, but I think this still makes sense to me for 3 reasons. 1, it's a more subdued style. Not totally cowboy like a typical riding boot, but it's also not a zombie killer like the Elsinore. 2, it's lighter. Each of these size 12s is a full 125 grams lighter than the Elsinores, and I actually felt that difference walking around. And 3, we have a full waterproof lining in the Prep. That's the major difference that sets it apart from its more popular cousin. And I hate to do this, but I have a problem with the waterproofing. I mean, there's no gaiter on top, so unless you have a calf that is exactly this shape and size, you're gonna need a waterproof pant to go over top of the Prep to actually keep the rain out. Fitment-wise, the Prep size is just like a regular shoe, although it is much tighter across the top of the foot, so riders with high arches should probably stay away. It's also a bit of a chore to put on. I mean, you have to totally undo the top buckle just to get the rear zipper open, which is annoying because the top buckle doesn't even do anything in terms of adjustment. I kind of wish that it wasn't there at all. And after that, it takes more finesse because you have to get your foot angled just right because your heel is going to want to punch out that rear gusset. So you get the angle just right, and then I kind of use my toes to walk my foot forward and into the boot. I still think that the Prep is a good boot, and so is the Elsinore. I just wish that Icon had given us 1 great option rather than 2 good ones. If I could have the waterproof liner of the Prep with the fitment scheme of the Elsinore, I'd be sold. Now, I personally think something a little bit more casual looks best on a cruiser, and for that I would choose Icon's Super Duty 4 or TCX's X-Blend. Let's play top trumps. Both have ankle, heel, and toe armoring. They're both leather constructions as well, but I'd have to give the edge to TCX in terms of safety because it does come up about 2.5 inches higher than the Super Duty. Obviously, there's a little bit more slide protection that comes with that territory, and it's also CE rated while the Super Duty is not. The Icon comes back in terms of price though, $200 on this side, which really embarrasses the TCX's $300. The X-Blend retaliates in terms of waterproofing. See, Icon's Super Duty is water resistant-ish if I spray some leather protector on top and maybe stay away from the big puddles, but the X-Blend has a full waterproof liner built in. Icon counters with its closure. Both shoes have laces, which could potentially catch on my foot pegs and cause me to tumble over at the next stoplight. But the Icon Super Duty endangers my pride a little bit less because it has this positive lock buckle here that I can use to hide the bunny ears underneath. Of course, I'd have to give the edge to the X-Blend in terms of comfort. Despite being the larger shoe, it manages to achieve the same 840 gram weight, and so the X-Blend feels much more nimble on my foot. The sole is more flexible, it's easier to walk in, and the leather requires no break-in period coming out of the box. Of course, the Super Duty is no slouch when it comes to comfort either, but it is definitely a little bit clunkier. We've gone neck and neck so far, but I have to let the TCX pull ahead now because it wins again in terms of shifting. The shifter panel on the TCX actually blends in with the rest of the shoe, and because the toe profile is so low, it's really easy to get the end of this boot underneath the lever to do your shifting. The Icon, on the other hand, has these ridiculous rubber nubs, which totally give away the fact that this is a motorcycle boot, and rather annoyingly, they don't actually do anything to help me shift. Because the toe box is quite high on this shoe, I normally end up contacting the lever somewhere here rather than up here. Style-wise, it's totally subjective. I think the Icon looks stunning in brown or wheat colorways, especially under a pair of jeans. I ordered this black one here because I wanted to see if there was any magic to it, but honestly, there isn't. If I were to do it again, I'd get one of the other colorways instead. The X-Blend is obviously more classic in style. To me, this looks great on any motorcycle and any sidewalk, but I know that cafe racers in particular tend to drool over this kind of thing. And that's it for my favorite cruiser boots. Thank you guys very much for watching.